Do you often feel like a failure? For many ADHD women, this feeling shows up around a familiar set of expectations. Being emotionally available and socially easy, being the one who holds everything and everyone together. These expectations are commonly placed on women, not exclusively, but persistently. And when you're ADHD or ADHD and autistic, it can feel impossible to live up to these standards. It often starts with the expectation to put everyone at ease, to be warm, approachable, to be the person who always makes others feel comfortable. This is supposed to look effortless, as if it's just part of your personality, but it isn't effortless for you. So you gradually become hyper aware of how you interact with others. You monitor your facial expressions, the tone of your voice, and the length of the pause between exchanges. You become overly critical of everything you do and say, ruminating for hours after every exchange, vowing to do better next time. And over time, you assemble a new version of yourself, one that is incredibly disconnected from your authentic self. This is masking, and for many autistic and ADHD adults, it is a price to pay to fit into society. But masking takes energy. What seems effortless for others requires constant manual effort from you, and eventually you feel depleted. Your mask slips. You might step away or tune out. You simply have no more energy left to keep up the performance. And when this happens, people don't see someone who's overwhelmed and needs a break. They see someone who is standoffish, awkward, or rude. So you push yourself to keep masking. But you can't keep it up forever. Chronic burnout and perhaps stress-related health issues will eventually catch up to you in midlife. The cure is to unmask, but after so many years of pretending, you don't know where the mask ends and you begin. Uncovering your true self feels like an impossible task, but masking is only part of the struggle. Being socially at ease also means reading situations, knowing what's happening around you and responding appropriately. That's hard for you. Women are expected to be emotionally attuned, to ask the right questions, and to sense attention before anyone says anything. You're assumed to know how to diffuse situations, offer comfort, and make others feel heard, not just by being friendly, but by intuitively understanding others and anticipating their needs. But it isn't intuitive for you. Your brain processes social information differently. You're not missing cues because you don't care. You're missing them because they don't register. Everyone seems to move through conversations with an understanding you can't access. You miss the subtext and struggle to read intent. When someone's upset, you don't always know how to help, so you pause and observe. You try to figure it out in real time, but by the time you understand how to react, the moment is gone. You always feel one step behind. And then there's the issue of expressing your own emotions. You're expected to be in tune with your feelings and know how to share them. When you can't articulate how you feel, you're not given the benefit of the doubt. Instead, you're seen as being cold or passive aggressive. It's not that you don't have feelings, you do, but you often can't identify them fast enough. This isn't avoidance, it's a processing delay. Your brain doesn't connect feelings to language in real time. It happens later, in private, when there's no pressure, but by then, the moment is gone. Or it goes the other way. You may express your emotions before you have fully processed them. They may come out of you rapidly, intensely, and at precisely the wrong moment. The ADHD part of your brain doesn't wait, so you jump in, but without your mask ready. As a result, your words are unfiltered, unpolished, and may land wrong. You're seen as dramatic, brash, and generally just too much. That gap between what you feel, when you feel it, and how it comes out starts to make you feel like a failure. Now, women are also expected to be the ones who keep everything moving, to remember appointments, birthdays, deadlines, to notice when something needs to be ordered or picked up, to hold everything together without losing track. It's not one task. It's an unending list of responsibilities that no one notices unless you're dropped. And it's not just about tasks. You're expected to be the default, to be the person everyone turns to when someone needs help or there's a problem no one else wants to deal with. not because you volunteered, but because that's your role. But these expectations aren't compatible with how you operate. The appointment you were supposed to remember, well, you forgot it was today. And the thing that was running low, you didn't notice until it was gone. You try to hold everything together, but things still slip through. You lose track of time, or perhaps you get pulled away mid-task and forget to come back. You build systems to help, like reminders, lists, and routines. They work for a while, at least until the novelty wears off, and then suddenly you're starting over again. It's a repeating cycle. Now, sometimes you are expected to complete a task that you just can't start. You look at it and you don't know where to begin. There's no clear path forward. There's just too many unknowns and you feel stuck. So the task sits, waiting for you to figure out what to do. People don't understand why this happens. They don't know you're struggling. They just see lack of follow through. And when you can't do the thing everyone expects you to do, it doesn't feel like a bad day. Just like your social challenges, it also feels like failure. And underneath all of this, the pleasantness, the emotional attunement, the reliability, the holding everything together, there's one more expectation, and that is that you shouldn't have needs. That having needs equates to being difficult, and being difficult is bad. So you go with the flow. You adjust so other people don't have to. You hesitate to speak up for yourself. After all, you don't want to appear selfish or high maintenance, right? So you learn to not challenge others and adjust your expectations instead. Now, the problem with this is that you do have needs. You need recovery time after being around people. You need things to be quieter because certain sounds don't just annoy you, they derail you. You need a moment without judgment to provide an answer. These aren't preferences. They're how you stay regulated. You shouldn't have to ignore these feelings, but you're often pressured to. So you stay when you should leave, say yes when you mean no, and sit in noise and overwhelming chaos while attempting to convince yourself you're fine. You do this because asking for what you actually need would make you a problem, and you've spent your whole life trying not to be a problem. Now, you might have convinced yourself that this constant feeling of falling short must be a personal flaw, that if you just tried harder, things would be different. But these expectations weren't reasonable to begin with, and when you're ADHD, they're even harder to meet. They're not a personal failure. You're not a failure, and hopefully now you can see why it's always felt so hard. If this resonated, please consider becoming part of the AuDHD Hub community on Patreon. There are free resources and community spaces and paid options if you want additional support. The link is in the description down below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you next time.